How's it going, Crustacean Nation? Welcome back to Lobster Tales here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's the go-to way that fans of the team can learn more about their favorite Rock Lobster players. This is voice of the Rock Lobsters, Matteen Rad, and I'm joined today by everyone's favorite Swede, Filip Virgili. Phil, thanks for joining me. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's been such a long time since we talked about how things are going. And the last time we did something like this, it was before we were even playing home games. Despite the fact the season was already ongoing, it feels like we couldn't have known what we were in store for this season, whether it be the success of the team, the opening of the arena, the ferocity of the fans. Have there been aspects of this first season that have surprised you?
Yeah, definitely. So kind of like what you mentioned, we kind of uncharted waters with everything, going on with the rink and all that kind of stuff. And, playing down south is something new for me. And I think for a lot of guys there as well. And, hockey, maybe it hasn't been the biggest here, but it's been awesome to kind of see the fan interaction that we've gotten here and, seeing how hockey's growing here and, playing in front of all these fans here at this beautiful rink. It's been absolutely amazing and kind of, open up your eyes for how much you actually love hockey and, the benefits that come with it.
There's no native Georgians on this team, so everyone is far from home. But of course, it's different for you and Oja and Danny and Zinni, where home is over an ocean away. I know it's been such a short period of time here, but with your home of Malmö, Sweden, so far away, has Athens become a home away from home at all?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm always going to be firm in the way that it all depends on the people that you have around you. And, I've been blessed to have all these great teammates and, my wife also being a pillar for me here. There's not much to dislike about Athens. Let's just put it that way. It makes it a lot easier to kind of feel at home when you got, the sunny weather, the awesome fans, the beautiful rink. It's been a very easy transaction to move from, the Quad Cities to down south here in Athens.
There's been some great memories already for you here as well, especially looking back in January, where you registered the first ever hat trick in franchise history, and you did it on our home ice. What was it like to have that kind of individual performance and to do so in front of our own fans?
Absolutely electric. I think there's a lot of words to kind of describe that, but I have to be kind of humble and give credit where credit's due. And I mean, especially, I've been playing with Kayson Gallant the entire season here, and they work hard, they play hard, they give me the puck in good situations. So, like I said, give credit where credit is due. They give you easy chances, and but overall, an incredible feeling. I mean, like especially at home, right? You wouldn't want to score a hat trick anywhere else. Um, Absolutely awesome. Yeah.
You've already brought it up. It feels like you can't talk about your season without talking about Kayson Gallant, and the same is the truth for Kayson as well. I remember us talking about your chemistry with Gally. That was back in October. Fast forward 6 months and we're still talking about it. What do you think makes your partnership so effective?
I think him and I just kind of clicked right away. It's easy to play with a guy who works you know, off. Always wants the puck, always, is quick on his feet. And it's nice to kind of let them do the little dirty work and then you kind of find areas where they can find you. And that's why I think also, giving credit to Mallow now, who's joined our line, just a working horse. So I think that's why all us three kind of work well together, is that we kind of feed off each other's strengths, which is kind of, open up our goal scoring opportunities. But I wouldn't have accomplished the things I've done this season without these guys next to me. So credit to those two.
You've also been so lethal on the shootout this season. You've been one of Coach Marty's go-to guys in the shootout. What do you think it is about your profile that makes you good in the shootout? Is it more to do with your skill, or is it more of a mentality thing?
It's funny because, in the past, I haven't had a great track record in the shootouts. I've always, I've always watched a lot of YouTube videos and see all these guys, like Barkov or Kucherov do these funny little skill shootouts, and I try them myself and they don't go in. But I've kind of, like dialed in a couple moves here and there and kind of gone with it, and it's worked out this season so far. And I think once you kind of get the first one of the year, you become a lot more confident when you go in for the next one. So I think the confidence is definitely the key in going into the shootouts.
you've just celebrated your 27th birthday on March 31st, and you've celebrated a lot of different birthdays while playing hockey. Was there anything special about birthday number 27?
Uh, yeah, well, I mean, we're down there in beautiful Athens. No, I got to celebrate with, all my teammates and all my brothers here, and made it very fun. I remember my birthday last year. There was a bunch of tornadoes and all that kind of stuff, so I had to sit inside the entire day. So it's a nice little change through that. Um, yeah.
Interesting to talk about something away from hockey, but you're such a well-rounded guy, well-educated guy. You've still got good amount of playing time left, but what do you think life after playing looks like for you?
It's a great question. I mean, it's a lot of different career paths I think that I kind of can think of. Right now, I think one for me is, I'm trying to get my license in financial advising. I have a awesome, support from back in the Quad Cities. Her name is Dawn. Been kind of taking me under her wing in regard to that, and that would be a potential for me after I'm done playing to kind of settle down there and see where life with me and my wife and the dog kind of takes us. It's not something that we really haven't talked much about so far because once you're in hockey season, you're kind of dialed in on that. Um, but only good things to think of, if that makes any sense.
Oh, 100%. Big shout out to Dawn as well.
Definitely.
Carter Shinkarik and you were talking a couple of weeks ago about the Four Nations tournament and how you must have felt kind of left out being the only Swedish guy on the team. But of course, that has changed since then. It's not like you're someone who's lacking friends. Everyone on the team loves you. But was there a special feeling in Adam Oja, a fellow countryman, coming into the team as well?
I mean, of course, it's every time you get a person from your home country, you can speak your native tongue and all that kind of stuff. It just makes it feel a lot more like home. And I think that I'm kind of speaking for him as well when he feels the same way. I understand that this is, a home away from home, but like I said, it's always nice when you can kind of relate on the cultural things from Sweden and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely made a big difference. And unfortunately, we couldn't show it off better in the Four Nations, but maybe next time.
Now, I was cheering for Sweden as well, that. But
Yeah, that's fine.
Phil, I'm coming off my own great milestone in my life. I think the greatest milestone in my life. I've proposed to my girlfriend Paige, and now we're engaged to be married. You're kind of known as the wife guy on the team. What advice can you give me on being married?
Do whatever she says. No, I think I've come to learn that happy wife, happy life is truly a statement. But I think when you've met the partner that you know is the one, it's easy to kind of work well together. And I can only give credit to my wife. I don't think it's super easy being a hockey wife. We're off a long. We're gone for sometimes multiple days, and they're alone and all that kind of stuff. But they know the responsibilities that you have as a player and all that kind of stuff, so they feed them well to it. And I think it's also very nice for the guys around here. She'll bake them cinnamon rolls and sourdough and all that kind of stuff. So I think they're reaping the benefits as well as of me having a wife. But no, yeah, just take care of her and listen to her. I think that's probably the best tip that I can give.
Is there someone on the team that, or who on the team do you think will make maybe the best husband for a lucky lady someday?
I think there's gonna be a lot of not angry guys, but disappointed guys that I'm not mentioning them. But I think Orca Weisblad is just a very respectful guy, especially when it comes to the ladies. He's shown me that. So if there's ever the question, who would you let date your daughter? I think Orca Weisblad is definitely up in the top there.
He's such a good kid, man. I couldn't agree more with you.
Definitely is.
On the other side of things, who on the team do you think maybe wouldn't be cut out for marriage?
Rosie. Not even a question. Not even a question. Yeah.
Well, Phil, I want to play a little game, man. We're going to call it Culture Clash. I'm going to give you two words of a similar nature, one Swedish and one American. You're going to tell me which one you prefer. I think you're probably going to go Swedish nearly every time, but
I love it. Go ahead.
And if it doesn't make sense now, I'm sure it will in a second. You ready, Phil?
Go ahead.
First question, I think this is a good one because you had the fan favorite burger at Farm Burger. Swedish meatballs or a cheeseburger?
Oh, it's so tough. You can never go wrong with a cheeseburger, but I have to, I have to go with the Swedish meatballs, especially if they're done right.
Is there any place in Georgia or in Athens that you can get a good, well done Swedish meatball besides
Yeah,
IKEA?
my apartment.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. We're coming over to Phyllis.
I haven't even checked it out yet or even seen if there's a possibility. I know that certain places have, like they have a Swedish bakery or something like that, but I'm so stuck into, the American culture and the food here right now that I haven't even thought about it. Yeah.
Well, they're both coming up soon, Phil. Next up, patriotic holidays, Midsummer or 4th of July?
Midsummer, not even close. Not even close. I think Midsummer is just a holiday that anyone, whether you're from Sweden, the US, Canada, or anything like that, it's just one of those that you have to experience. It's just such a blast, and you hang out with your friends and tend to get a little tipsy, but it makes the night a little more fun. So definitely Midsummer.
What about the best way to relax and recover, sauna or hot tub?
Hot tub, absolutely. Yeah, I like a sauna, but you can never go wrong with just being able to relax in a hot tub after a hard workout.
A couple flavors that you can't get anywhere else, lingonberry jam or peanut butter?
Lingonberry jam, absolutely. And it's funny because it kind of ties into the meatballs. That can make or break or a dish. So I had to bring that back home from Sweden. I had to bring it into the US here so I can enjoy my meatballs whenever I eat them.
Were you perplexed by peanut butter at all? Because anytime I talk about peanut butter with Europeans, they don't get it. They're like, I don't see the idea.
It's just not as big of a thing as it is here in the US. I was thinking back to my college days. I was so surprised when I was sitting in class and this guy was sitting with a peanut butter jar and just eating straight out of it. And I remember, what is going on right now? But having been here for 8-something years now, I mean, you can never go wrong with like a peanut butter jelly. So I kind of get the hype right now. Yeah.
What about pop culture icons, ABBA or Taylor Swift?
Oh, not even close. ABBA. Any day. Any day.
And then a little bit of retail, IKEA or Target?
Oof. IKEA. And I know that a lot of people have some struggles building those things, which me too, but I still love it. I mean, especially their food, the little food marketplace, whatever you want to call it, can never go wrong with buying, a hot dog for $1 and an ice cream for 50 cents. Like, the fact that that's still a thing is what makes IKEA.
I heard the dumbest joke today was, did you hear that the CEO of IKEA was just elected the Prime Minister of Sweden? Did you hear about this?
No. No.
He's taken quite a bit of time to assemble his cabinet.
Oh, God. You thought about that one for a while, didn't you?
No, I swear I heard it today. It was a dumb joke that I heard. Yeah. And I was like, it seems weird after I wrote down all these questions that was a joke that I heard this morning. But
honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case, seeing how big IKEA is.
Phil, last one here, and it's the easiest one for me to answer. 0-degree winters or 100-degree summers?
0-degree winters.
Wow,
dude. Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
You want to know why? Because I'm a skiing over like summertime, whatever you want to call it, that question. I love snowboarding and skiing and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's easier for me to kind of be in that climate versus, melting on a sunshare somewhere.
Well, Phil, we're going to finish off this interview with one of our news segments, Question a Crustacean. It's where Crustacean Nation themselves can ask questions of their favorite Rock Lobster players. If you're watching at home or listening in the car and you would like to ask your own questions for future interviews, join the Athens Rock Lobsters fan page on Facebook and look out for posts from me, Matteen Rad. Our first questions come from our technical extraordinaire here on the show, Stephen Turner. He says, as an unbiased Swede, who really has the best hockey players out of U.S. or Canada?
Oof. It's going to piss a lot of people off. I have to say Canada. I have to. They've just produced such talent throughout all the years. And it's tough to, when you have players like Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid, to say anything else.
Well, after the Four Nations too, that pretty much proved it, right?
Especially, yes, that's fair.
He also wonders which U.S. or Canadian rock lobster duo would be the best duet act for a karaoke night.
Oh yeah, that's a great question.
Are there any guys that sing on the team?
You know what? Yes, I already have one guy in mind, and that's Joey Coulthard. He's pretty good at doing the Panic at the Disco covers. But I'm trying to think of another. You know what? Throw in Matt Garcia. I think those two would be a pretty lethal duo up on the mic.
A little Florida Illinois combination there. I like it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Ty Benton wants to know, what arena would you most like to play in?
That stretches to any NHL and all that kind of stuff.
In the world. I mean, even if there's any back home in Sweden.
I think, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think that's just with the history and all that kind of stuff behind it. I think, yeah, that would be an electric place to play at.
This one's going to be tough, Phil, because it's going to put you on the spot. Ashley Renee wants you to list 5 interesting facts about yourself.
Oh, wow.
Give us as many as you can, maybe.
I'm going to try to, yeah, sure. I think I love to cook. That's kind of a generic, boring answer, but, I love it. Play a little bit of guitar.
Okay.
I guess that's a little hidden one. Let's see what else. I love horses. I think they're majestic animals, and definitely think the relationship between man and horses are something beautiful. I like to play video games, like to play golf. A lot of golf. I wish I was better at it, but still a lot of golf. I said it before, I like skiing, snowboarding, all that kind of stuff. I love to travel, especially to countries such as Italy or Portugal. What else could
I feel like we're reading like your dating profile right now. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah.
Phil's already picking.
Yeah, I have a beautiful wife, definitely. Our little doggy. You gotta give Ruby a little shout out as well. I know she's I think the guys kind of like her as well, so I have to. I don't know what else I could think of.
I think that's a good list right there. And we're gonna get into Ruby a little bit more later as well.
Okay.
Sarah Jane Bork Young ponders, what got you into hockey? What are your long-term goals?
So I got into hockey at the age of about 3, 4. I'm growing up. My dad played hockey. My brother played hockey. All my uncles and everything. So I'm coming from a hockey family. So I kind of don't know anything else. With that being said, I played soccer. I played a bunch of other sports growing up as well. But hockey kind of became the one that I fell in love with and stuck around with it. In terms of long-term goal, I think any guy on the team could say this, and I think it's winning a championship. I've been very, very fortunate to win championships, back in my day in Sweden. Got to win a championship in college. I think pro is still the one that I haven't. So that's definitely a goal to lift that trophy with my teammates this year.
I think that's the most surprising thing to me. I mean, it's such a well-constructed, talented team of individuals, but you look back at the resumes, and these are guys that are still on the search really for their first championship. I think that's what makes it so exciting going into this playoff run. We'll continue on with John Pearson. He wants to know if you have any nicknames. He said, I was today years old when I realized his name is not Flip.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard it all. The most common one is Phil, Philly. Whenever I haven't had my morning coffee, I'm called No Fun Phil. Unfortunately, Garrett Milan kind of came up with that one, and it's unfortunately stuck. But Phil, Philly is usually the ones that people tend to call me.
That's why your favorite hotels on the road are the ones that have free coffee, right?
Yeah, there you go. Quick and easy. And I think the guys appreciate that. Yeah.
One of our statistics staff at Aikens Ford Arena, Dan Maverick Molinafi, asks, what was your first hockey memory?
Oof, that's a tough one. I think playing with my brother for the first time. Obviously, when you're younger and you have an older brother, you always look up to these guys. And I think for the first time when I stepped on the ice with him and got to play, I think that was definitely a memorable one.
Skylar K. Utzler wants to know who your biggest supporter is. I feel like it's an easy answer,
It is, but you know what? I have to dig in a little deeper. Obviously, with my mom, my dad, my brothers, everything, they've kind of pushed me and supported me from when I was younger. But obviously, like you said, the easy answer is my wife. I mean, she's my pillar, and like I said, I don't think it's very easy to be a hockey wife, but she's doing quite a job and always making sure that, I'm prepared to play the game so I can play my A game.
Our Athens Rock Lobster fan club admin, Niven McCrary, tells us, while I would love to hear about Phil and his impressive career, can he please tell us all about Ruby? I feel like this is the one I'm going to have to reel you in a little bit here, Phil, but fill us in.
There it is. I know. I mean, she's awesome. It's this little mini golden doodle, absolute cutest thing in the world. I think her mom and I have kind of spoiled her a little bit, maybe more so I than her. But like I said, I've had her around the locker room, and I think all the guys love her. And it's just it's a nice little thing to have, coming home to, because she's always happy to see you, and it always brightens your mood to have something like that.
Andy Ring has 2 for us. First, what do you miss most from back home in Sweden?
Family. I mean, pretty simple answer. If you want a non-generic one, I'm probably gonna say kebab. Which is funny because it's not even a Swedish food, but it's kind of where I'm from, Malmö. That's the food of Malmö. It's such every time you eat it, it feels like home. So.
Well, here's the thing, Phil. I'm Middle Eastern, so kebab, I can definitely jive.
You can relate to that, yeah.
Here's the thing. I've found out that there's something called kebab pizza.
Yeah, it's elite.
Take me through that real quick.
Yeah, it's essentially just like a cheese pizza with kebab on it, which for the people that don't know what kebab is, it's essentially like lamb, I guess, like shaved lamb. And, it depends on the pizza places. People throw fries on it, and then you have this garlic sauce that you kind of drizzle all over it, and just makes for which is funny because I know my Italian grandpa is just upset with me saying this, but it just makes such a great pizza. Yeah.
Well, Andy has another question. He wants to know, if you're on a road trip with the guys, who's driving, who's on the aux, and who's giving directions?
Wow. I'll definitely have to say Shank's driving, because he was the guy who drove us to Cummings every day for the first month. The guy on aux, I would say probably Brandon Picard. He's got a couple good tunes that he plays. They'll always jam up the tempo a little bit and make the guys excited for wherever we're going. Was that it? Was there anything?
He was giving directions. Who's the best with directions?
Has to be another responsible guy. Probably Malik Johnson. I think he's another responsible guy that, it wouldn't be a scenario where we're right next to the exit and they go, "Oop, that was it."
Savannah Weekly with an interesting one. It's a little bit of a thinker. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck? You like horses, so fighting 100 horses, you might not like that.
No, that might not be it. Honestly, I think I'll take the 1 horse-sized duck. Yeah, which I can't even imagine that, but yeah.
Every now and then we have a thinker on here, but our last one is from H.R. Roman. He said, not known for his fighting, how did it feel to beat up Kirkby the other night?
I have a couple of stints under my belt, but it's not in my game to kind of look for those, but whenever the team needs it, I'll be ready to step up, and it was good. I mean, it's an amazing feeling. I remember how loud the arena got, and it's always good when you can kind of give some extra momentum to your team, and to make the fans kind of cheer a little louder for us.
Well, Phil and the Rock Lobsters are going on the fight for a ring in the off season here, rather in the postseason. Make sure you catch Phil and the Rock Lobsters in their playoff hunt. Make sure you go to rocklobstershockey.com and buy your playoff tickets today. Phil, thanks so much for joining me, brother.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much.